Hey, I'm Georgia Lyons and welcome to Intros. Today on the show I have the most amazing Christabel, who was a beautiful friend of mine, an amazing songwriter, incredible vocalist, and such an amazing artist. And we've been wanting to get you on here for such a long time. Christabel.
Hi, Georgia.
Welcome to Intros.
Oh, thank you.
It's so good to have you here.
It's an honour.
The very first time I met you in real life was in LA at the Hotel Cafe show that I was playing, and we had all of these amazing female artists playing and opening the show, and we kind of did this beautiful show together, and you were there. I was captivated by you and your songwriting and the way that you just have this ability to tell stories with your voice. When did you first discover that you, Christabel, could sing?
I was very young, actually, when I started singing. I wrote my first song when I was 5. Wasn't a very good song.
Do you still remember it?
No, but I've got it written down somewhere in a folder.
Cute.
My dad kept it preserved in a little sleeve. Not all of my family is musical, but my grandparents were like really musical. And so I went, they lived next door, so I'd like waddle on over and play the piano until my papa was like, shut up.
Was that the first instrument that you kind of picked up and you started to learn?
Yeah, so my mum and dad realised that I was gravitating towards music, and then so they put me in piano lessons, and I would never do the theory, and my piano teacher got really angry at me. Guilty. But then they were like, why are you not doing the theory? And I'd come in and I'd start playing a song, and it would be right, but it would be like in a different key, and they'd be like, how did you learn that? And then they kind of picked up that I was actually playing by ear after like 2 years of piano lessons.
That's amazing.
So I kind of, I quit after that because I was like, I'll just
skip the theory.
Yeah.
What happened from there? You left high school? Did you study music?
I didn't really have a great time at high school. I was never really like a school kid. I'm on the spectrum. I have quite bad ADHD. Once I kind of got that diagnosis, I left school when I was 16 to pursue music, but I had no idea how to do that. So my dad actually got me involved with Play It Strange, which is like a New Zealand curriculum where you can perform and write your own lyrics, because that's what I was just doing anyway. I got excellence in that, and so I just was like, cool, I've got my level 1. So I went off, kind of winged it as I usually do.
I'd love to chat to you about Pop Stars, the TV show that was here in New Zealand, which you won. Tell me about that journey. What was that like for you?
It was definitely an interesting one, to say the least. And I'm so grateful for it, and it wouldn't have allowed me the opportunities that I've had since then. But it definitely was something that I struggled with at the time. I had some things that were going on behind the scenes that I hadn't quite dealt with. And so going on Pop Stars was quite a large undertaking for someone who's going through it a bit. So I learned like a lot. I learned how fast-paced everything is. Kind of like a concentrated version of a pop star world. It was very unreal at the same time as being very like eye-opening to how the industry is.
It's kind of a crash course, I guess, into being like, here's all the things at once in this very short amount of time. Could you recognise that?
Totally. It took its toll on everyone on the show, I think. But we had like a good team who was asking questions, how are we, and providing that help. If we were stressed and stuff, they didn't necessarily, no one wanted to put us in situations that were stressful. But we needed that to like drive our competitive nature, I guess. I'd never really played, live in that capacity before, and it was really nerve-wracking for me because it was so new. But it was like, wow, I know that I have things I've got to work on, but this is definitely what I want to do.
What was like a standout thing that you took away, or like a learning from that whole experience?
This industry is cutthroat, and it's oversaturated, and you have to work really, really hard. And that was something that I, before the show, was kind of like, I can do this. And I had this great attitude towards it, and that's fine. But I think without the show, I might have felt maybe disappointed or let down or discouraged when, I realised that things aren't actually as easy as I thought they would be.
you've just finished your debut album, which is very, very, very exciting, set to come out sometime in 2025.
Yep.
I have been privy to seeing your beautiful imagery and, I guess, vision that you have for this album and this project, which you can feel how much work and thought has gone into this project, which is amazing. Like, well done.
Thank you.
But how important has that been for you to get the vision right for Christabel?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for that. I'm very, very proud of it as well. When I was traveling, I was writing like non-stop. I wrote easily 2 or 3 different projects while I was traveling, but none of it I was like fully happy with. And I think it was when I realized that I wasn't being honest in my songwriting, and because I felt so much shame over, you know, the things that have happened in my life, that I was just kind of leaning into this image and not the true self. And that's like so important is, you know, when your heart is calling you to say something and express something, you actually need to listen to it. And, you know, that's your intuition, you know, like you've got to listen to it. Music is like the closest thing to magic that we have in this world, really, you know, like the closest physical thing. I started diving into that instead of like, you know, here's this pop star image that I need to chase. Like, I'm going to write down everything that I felt and all the excruciating bits of my life and all the parts of myself that maybe are a bit questionable. You know, there's all sorts of like moments that kind of tie together to make this story without explicitly saying it. And I want other people to listen to it and kind of do that themselves, like question their own intuition and start following their own gut.
When you were 16 and you're, you know, leaving high school and you're trying to figure out, I want to do music, I have no idea how, what would have been helpful for you to know at that point, or a resource or a person or a piece of information that you were like, I wish I'd known that then?
My biggest advice to people who are in that position is keep seeking and asking. Ask or you don't get. You know, just keep like being the squeaky wheel.
Yes.
Be annoying. You know, the louder you are, the more people will remember you.
You're an independent artist. You're female who also is navigating ADHD. There's a lot of things.
It is a lot of things
to navigate. How have you found that journey?
I feel like it's been a very eventful one. It's important to be picky with your people because, you know, these are people that have to fully understand you and the way that you work. Because I'm a little bit all over the place and sometimes I don't make any sense, and I think that my producer could probably attest to that. You know, there are times where we're in knee deep in a song and then, you know, I'll suddenly have this other idea while we're already like tracking doubles and stuff, and I'm like, oh, why don't we do this and like change all the settings, let's put mad auto-tune on that, like just for the vibes. And he'd be like, oh, we're doing double vocals right now. And I'll be like, oh, sorry. And then it's just kind of like the sporadicness. You kind of have to be very patient. And so I, you know, have got a lovely bunch of people who I've warned profusely about that nature. And I think being an independent artist with not a lot of structure or skills in structure, I would say, that can be quite difficult. I learned the other day that, and I'm always learning stuff about ADHD, but I learned the other day that the planning is just as rewarding as the doing in our brains. And so, you know, that's why a lot of us have so many extravagant, beautiful plans, but then they're not executed well. So I think it's all about, you know, having people that keep you accountable and believe in you, even when you really, really just doubt yourself.
I feel very lucky today to have you perform for us your new single, Last One Standing. Can you tell us a little bit about that song?
It's actually my favourite one on the record. It's kind of like a Mazzy Star kind of banger. So I wrote it about a friend of mine. He went through quite a dark time. You know, I think the New Zealand drinking culture in general is quite terrible compared to a lot of places I've been. It got to a point where, you know, I was really worried about his mental health and his way of living and his sobriety, because I just like, to me, this guy is like one of the most talented people I've ever met. You know, he was stuck in this terrible relationship who, you know, with that just completely drained him as a person, and he lost his spark. I felt like sometimes I was the only one that didn't like give up on him, or the only one that kind of still kept pushing for like, you know, him to keep doing his best.
Once again, I feel like I've said I'm so excited for everything that you do, but I'm so excited to hear you sing the song, hear the record come out. It has been so, so lovely to have you here on Intros. Thank you so much for sharing, you know, your story, your songs, and I just think, yeah, you've done such a great job at putting one in front of the other and continuing on. So
thank you.
I admire you, and I think you're amazing. Well done. Love you, mate.
They buried you alive. You dug out your own grave while everybody watched. And I begged you not to leave. You let them fucking lower your body down. And I was the last one standing there, waiting for some kind of resurrected version of you. And when nobody believed it, babe, I knew there was something left in you. I knew there was something left in you. I attended to your grave, darling. Talk to you like you come crawling back, like the ground beneath will crack wide open. I scrubbed your name down with tears falling. I knew you were a dead man. I knew you were a dead man walking, and I was the last one standing there, waiting for some kind of resurrected version of you. And when nobody believed you, babe, I knew there was something left in you. I knew there was something left in you. So many almosts, and baby, I came so close. I wait in a false hope. Oh, but this veil is a thick black smoke. What did you think would happen? You are what you drink, babe. Your spirit still haunts me when I pull out that